The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is August 26th. In the year of our Lord 2020. This is episode 235, and today, mortal head wound was healed. And you know me, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome back to another podcast episode where we broadcast live on multiple streams, including the YTs, the YouTubes. And also the Twitch and the Facebook and D-Live as well. We got the one viewer on D-Live right now.
That's right.
What up, D-Live guy?
We are all over the place. We are trying our best. We've kind of got to do some experimentations. We'll see if the connection is a little bit better out there for our live viewers. But those of you who subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, you're getting such a clean feed right now. You're so excited, and we're excited for you. But we're back, Gonz. We missed Monday's show for some unforeseen reasons. Was not planning on missing that show, but had some things come up that made it literally impossible to do the show. So we appreciate everybody's patience and forgiveness for that. But we are back, baby, and we are back on time, back on the air. Gonz, did you do something on Monday?
Yeah, I published a couple videos. I did a clip from, I think it was episode 233, where we discovered that they're auctioning off an abortion. So just made a little clip of that.
The Satanic Temple.
Yeah. And also did a little mini research video on Moderna, the company that's doing the mRNA vaccines. And the more I look into it, the more I'm like, don't touch it. It is very troubling, and it's not
unknown.
Well, it's not just the unknown, but it's this idea that they're giving billions of dollars and making deals for millions of vaccines for a technology that, again, you don't have to be like a fringe conspiracy guy to even look at this and be like, yeah, this isn't good, because you got big pharma moving away from the research and technology because of the problems it causes, in trials and stuff. And the CEO, who's listed on over 100 patents by Moderna, is not a scientist. He's just a marketer, basically. They've done a really good job raising a lot of money, but they haven't really had any kind of product to show for it. But hey, we're gonna solve the ronas with this new tech. It's just really troubling the way the guy who founded the company left because of the unethical decision making that was happening at the company. So I don't know. You don't even need to. Yeah, you don't even need to be all conspiratorial to be like, yeah, I don't know why they're pushing this hard. With other the EU, the US, Operation Warp Speed, the whole deal. It's kind of troubling, to say the least.
Operation Warp Speed. Well, great. Everybody listening, make sure to head to the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel and check out that video. Sounds like you got a lot of good stuff in there, Gonz. I want to thank Jim in the Canary Cry community on Facebook for sharing with me a video of a cat on a pirate ship on top of a Roomba. It made my day. So thank you very much, Jim.
Very meta.
Yes, very, very meta. And if you want to see that great video, go to Canary Cry Community on Facebook. Remember, you got to answer some questions. Have you listened to the podcast? Where did you hear about the community? You got to answer those, or else you won't make it in. But anything else, Gonz? Do we need to go? I see you've made some notes here. In our notes, you've got Gonz getting old.
Yeah.
Tell me about
that.
I
tweeted this out last night, but I had a moment last night that I've never had before, and it was a little frightening because I was sitting there thinking, and I was thinking, oh man, it really sucks to be 38 years old. And then I realized I'm not 38 yet.
Ooh.
I have a few more months before I turn 38. It was the first time in my life where I'm like, whoa, I don't know how old I am. And I had to think about it and do math to figure out exactly how old I was. And I asked the people that are out there older than I am if this was a feature or a bug of getting old. Because on one hand, if you can't remember, then hey, just live life moment to moment. But then also, not good that you can't even remember how old you are. It's just I've never had that happen before.
It's like I'm looking into my own future.
I know, yeah, it'll happen to you, and I hope it happens on air.
Okie dokie.
Basil is 56. Everybody, little did you know.
The secret's out.
Yep, or 16. Can't tell.
Okie dokie. Well, should we get into it here? What do you think?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, let's start out with the Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okie dokie. For those who don't know, Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use Flippy as a conversation, exploring all the ways that robotics and artificial intelligence are sneaking their way into our lives, and what does that mean for the rest of us? So today, Guns, it's a very special category of Flippy when we talk about Flippy in sports. Obviously, sports taken a hit in a lot of different ways recently with the ronas and the lockdowns and the new normal. We'll never know if live sports will ever be the same. But I've got a little story here for you tennis players. We got tennis.com, and the article is titled, "If Hawkeye Live Works in NYC, Prepare for Tennis to Use It Everywhere. Hawkeye." The article reads, if you're a tennis fan who also happens to be a technophobe, i.e. you fear that robots will soon be running our lives, the next few weeks might be tough for you. In the eternal battle between man and machine, the machines are on the verge of claiming a major, long-awaited victory. I'm telling you, Guns, I think a lot more mainstream outlets listen to this show because they're all on board now. They know that Flippy's coming for them. Yeah. The article continues, starting this past Saturday, the Western and Southern Open became the first dual-gender tour event to replace line judges with an electronic line calling system. Next week, the U.S. Open will become the first Grand Slam tournament to do the same. Hawkeye Live is the name of the technology, and as the name suggests, it was created by the same company that brought electronic replays to the sport and largely killed the tennis tantrum forever in 2006. Over the last 3 years, Hawkeye Live has been used by World Team Tennis and the ATP's Next Gen Finals in Milan, but it took the pandemic to bring it to Broadway. The USTA needed to reduce the number of people inside its bubble at Flushing Meadows, and electronic line calling was one brutally quick way to do it. Only during the U.S. Open and only in Arthur Ashe Stadium in and Louis Armstrong Stadium will either tournament employ real live lines people. By then, many may wonder if they're still necessary. That's right. Watch out, tennis referees. Flippy's coming for you. I'm going to skip down to this one particularly disturbing paragraph. Orally, that means, the things you can hear, though, there's a hardly any difference at all. Instead of emitting the expected beep when a player makes an error, the system issues a human-sounding out call. From what I've heard so far, most, but not all, of the simulated voices have been male. Come on.
Sexist robots.
Sexist robots. They're loud enough to be heard, but they don't pierce the air the way a human voice does. It's like we're all being watched over by an invisible, all-seeing, godlike line judge. So there you go. The AI god has been born, and we all thought it would happen by through Google and Facebook and coronavirus surveillance, but no. Tennis is the portal with which the artificially intelligent god makes his way into the world.
Well, this is already happening in many ways too. The auditory robot machine type thing. I don't know if you have this in your town, Basil, but where I'm at, a lot of the crosswalks have this voice activated.
Yes,
wait,
very stern,
wait,
very stern man telling you when to cross.
Wait.
Yeah. Wait.
I wonder how much that guy made that did that audio. You know, like, hey, give us
not as much.
Give us 100 weights. We'll pick one and royalty, right? No, it's probably a one-time pay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That would really be triggering, I think, in his whole life. If he has kids, you know, suddenly their dad is screaming at them from the crosswalk to wait. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Flippy's coming into tennis. Now, see, we already replaced the referees with robots. Now we just need to put Flippy on a little pedestal in the tennis, what do you call it, a tennis court? Yeah, and just have the robots play tennis. Why do we even need humans?
Yeah, you know, they usually shake hands with the referee guy there too, but none of that is necessary.
All right. Well, let's get into some updates here.
Yeah, we got a few updates to get through here.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Quick update on the Ghislaine Maxwell story that we've been tracking. This is NewYorkPost.com. Headline, Judge says jails 24/7 surveillance of Ghislaine Maxwell justified. And a few weeks ago, they were complaining, Ghislaine Maxwell and her legal team was complaining that, hey, they're unfairly treating her in this prison or this detention center. But apparently, federal judge says, nope, that's okay. Let them treat her, you know, more, I guess, under onerous conditions is the way they put it there. So just a quick update on that one because, you know, we're just keeping track. So unless they, maybe they know about the body double switch out or whatever, and they're just trying to prevent it from happening. And, or this is just one big ruse and it already happened. She's already dead, Basil. Did I lose Basil again? Oh no. This is just, we were hoping that this wouldn't happen, but, oh, are you there? Oh, no, he's not. Okay. Let's try this again. Hold on. Let me, I'm going to try to do something here real quick. I'm going to stop my recorder audition, and I'm going to call back Basil real quick here.
Beep, boop, boop. I'm back.
Okay, so I turned off your channel on Audition to see if that'll help, because I think a lot of the audio, too much audio recording taking place. Oh, you know what?
I know.
I did the wrong one.
We have conflicting ideas about the problem here, but we're tracking it down, folks. But yeah, don't worry. I tuned into the live stream, and I think this judge has a point. 24/7 surveillance of Ghislaine Maxwell is justified, and I think anybody saying otherwise is very suspicious.
It's part of the deep state plan agenda.
Something
like that. All right, moving on here.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
Lots of 33 happening. Biospace.com. Case report. 33-year-old man caught COVID-19 twice. Caught it twice.
Whoa. Twice. Oh.
It says here,
what does this mean?
Yeah, although there have been unverified reports of people getting repeat cases of COVID-19, there have been significant questions as to their reliability. Now, a case report out of Hong Kong cites a 33-year-old man treated in March at a hospital for COVID-19 who tested positive at the Hong Kong airport on August 15th. He was returning from Europe. He has no symptoms this time. Yeah, so 33. There you go. Why 33? I don't know. Did he age up between March and August? Apparently not.
Apparently
his birthday. Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe he was. Yeah, they would. I don't know. Anyway, there's 133 update. We got another one too, which is even more crazy.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
Were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. This is wavy.com. 33 inmates at Williamsburg jail test positive for COVID-19.
Oh, watch out, inmates.
Pretty convenient number.
Where's Williamsburg?
Virginia.
Sounds like an East Coast thing. Yeah,
I think it's Virginia. Officials at the Virginia Peninsula Regional Jail in Williamsburg say a recent round of testing has revealed 33 inmates in one housing unit are positive for COVID-19.
Why not 34?
Why not 32? I don't know.
Oh, man.
Yep. Got to be 33, of course.
All right. And for those who don't know, if this is your first time tuning in, we'd like to track 33s popping up in the news because 33 is a well-known messaging number, a very important number in a lot of the mystery schools. And as far, if you believe in the Illuminati or Freemasons, trying to rule the world type of situation, it's an elite messaging number. So when it shows up strangely in strange places, and often there's some sort of messaging going on. Unfortunately, Gons, you or I are not in the Illuminati, so we don't know exactly what the message is. Unfortunately, but there you go. We just like to point out when it shows up, something's happening.
Have you ever been recruited by them?
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then you've done better than I have. I've never gotten the letter of intent, or like
when the owl shows up and
taps on your window,
the letter off at your house. Yeah.
Someone who was recruited is Carl Teichrieb. You should go listen to the early first interview with Carl Teichrieb. He talks about that.
I did not know that. They tried to recruit him?
You don't remember the conversation we had with Carl the first time he was on?
You mean like the one 8 years ago? No, I don't remember that.
Okay. I don't remember my age. You don't remember podcast episodes we've done. There is one more quick 33 update that I didn't include in the notes here, but I'll just read the headline. Qualcomm, the big company Qualcomm, begins small business accelerator program with 33 businesses. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, not 32, not 34, but 33.
Gotta have the 33. That's the magic number.
Magic number. All right, and then a couple mask updates.
If you're working alone, wear a mask. The mask's not for you. It's to protect the people you care about.
PRNewsWire.com. Men who wear a face mask are sexier, according to U.S. women. Did you know this, Basil?
Oh my gosh, I did not know this.
If you're having trouble with the ladies, wear a mask, apparently.
Wow. Yeah. Is it sexier because then you can't see their their
face
teeth yellowing or their shaggy beard or something?
I have no clue, but
it creates an air of mystery.
Apparently. This study, though, is really just kind of nonsense. It was a 500-person survey. Public health and sex experts recommend face covering as a new guideline for partnered sex, and according to the 500-person survey, the sentiment may be catching on among women, too. So there you go. And the company that did this survey, we won't get into it, but not the most wholesome company there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is that this is a piece of nice little effective piece of propaganda.
Oh, yeah.
We already know that the numbers show that men are more likely to not wear a mask. And so, of course, in order to inspire obedience, you gotta give them an incentive.
Well,
the incentive being the women will finally think you're sexy if you wear a mask.
Well, that and apparently all the people here are part of the whole eyes wide shut parties, because all those people are wearing masks. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. They're just initiating everybody to be part of the club.
Yeah, so listen up, fellas. Obey. It's the only way to find a mate.
Obey. It's the only way. But, there may be another reason why to wear masks, because there's another headline here.
If you're working alone, wear a mask. The mask's not for you. It's to protect the people you care about.
DistrictHerald.com. Breaking. This is breaking news, Battle. Oh, this is the wrong headline. This is totally the wrong story. What happened to my story about... Okay, hold on.
They're moving it around on you again, man.
Yeah, I know. Hold on, let me find it and move it.
That's what happens. They see it in our notes doc here, and they're like, "Uh-oh, we can't have them talking about this on the show."
Yeah,
we need to change it around.
I thought it would be funny if it was breaking, but it's not breaking. This is Wired.com. How to prevent and treat face maskne. Do you know what maskne is?
I had heard this term getting thrown around. And I mean, I can guess what it is, but why don't you tell me what the experts say?
Just in case you needed more to worry about, mask-related acne is also breaking out nationwide. Ooh, clever. Here's what's causing it and how to get it under control.
Oh my gosh.
And
is it don't wear a mask?
It's it's funny because there's a line in here in the article. I'll scroll to it here. It's mostly related to women, not wearing makeup and stuff like that. We cannot state this enough. You should continue wearing a mask while in public. But if you don't have to be in public, stay home and let your skin breathe. So there you go. That's how they keep you at home.
It's
stay
literally
home.
Don't wear a mask.
Don't wear a mask.
Mask-me.
And stay home. Or if you're going to go out, I guess you have to still wear a mask. But you can invest in a few masks. You can switch out and wash frequently. Just if you're, I don't know. You're just going to, anyway. If you typically wear makeup, avoid putting it in areas the mask is covering. That's an interesting one too, No rosy cheeks for you ladies. It's just some eyeshadow.
Yeah, save 50% on makeup.
No
year.
Lipstick. None of that,
You just have your mask and you have your mascara.
Ooh,
and that's all you need.
Your mascara. Bleeding mascara. Wash your face before putting on a mask and after taking it off. Yep. Very good.
Yep. And submit your soul to the Antichrist and everything will be fine.
And what's funny is this story is really more of an ad, like a placement ad on all these products. A few products you can try, and I'm sure these products are stoked.
Oh, yeah,
they're being listed.
There.
Yeah, paid advertisements to. And this one too, facial toners. There's a Heritage Store Rosewater facial toner, Mr. Basil Rosewater.
They got me.
They got you.
That's some good branding.
Yeah, apparently. But there you go. Those are our quick updates. And
good updates.
Yeah, just got to get through them because keep you all informed and 33 and stuff.
That's what we do here. Okay, Gons. Well, let's get into our first story, and everybody's talking about it. We're talking about some race wars.
The race wars.
Race wars.
Race war.
I've warned you and warned you and warned you.
All right. So this was a difficult situation because there's so many different. Obviously, every outlet is reporting this, and so trying to find one that isn't so blatant. I mean, it's not as fun to try to analyze a mainstream news story that, I mean, if you read through a CNN thing and it's all Black Lives Matter, cops are evil, et cetera, and then there's, you get in too far right on some sort of outlet, then it's just, all about Antifa terrorists. But let's try to find one a little bit more in the middle. We're going to try this Newsweek article, newsweek.com. The article is titled Kenosha Shooting Leaves 2 Dead, 1 Injured During Jacob Blake Protests. So we're going to try to combine a lot of this. Now, as usual, folks, of course, we are aware of the Jacob Blake situation. Facts are really sketchy right now, so I'm sure we'll be talking about it more in the coming episodes, but we're just going to take it easy, go preliminary right now. The article reads, 2 people have died and another person was seriously injured in a shooting after protests erupted into violence for a third night in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Jacob Blake's shooting by police in Kenosha on Sunday has ignited fresh protests against police brutality and racial injustice in a number of cities across the country. 3 months after the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis sparked a national reckoning. The timing on this is incredible. It had just sort of started dying out, and all the protests and things like that. And this because suddenly on Instagram, everybody is posting, don't forget, we're not slowing down. We're keeping the momentum. Keep rioting. Keep protesting. Don't forget, there's a lot of these types of posts going around. And of course, only a couple days later, there's a whole nother eruption here, which we might get into a little bit. You and I got into it a little bit before the show, so we decided to save it. But the article continues. The encounter was captured on cell phone video showing police opening fire, apparently shooting him several times in the back. as he leaned into his SUV. 3 of Blake's young sons witnessed it from the backseat of the vehicle. Blake's spinal cord was severed by the bullets, and some of his vertebrae were shattered, leaving him paralyzed. His family's attorney, Ben Crump, revealed during a press conference on Tuesday, quote, "It's going to take a miracle for Jacob Blake Jr. to ever walk again," Crump said. I'm not sure if it mentions it in this article, but Crump is he's a pretty famous lawyer, and specifically works in a lot of civil rights stuff. Yeah. While I'm reading the rest of this article, will you bring up just a little snippet on Crump? Because he was involved in a lot of different cases that I think it's just good to know who this guy is. The article continues. Hours later, demonstrations in Kenosha erupted into violence for the 3rd night in a row. Then it's got a few videos there. We'll go through some footage here in a little bit. Police clashed with protesters who gathered outside a newly erected metal barrier protecting the Kenosha County Courthouse. Officers in riot gear fired tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse the crowd after an 8 p.m. curfew took effect, while protesters threw water bottles, rocks, and fireworks, according to the New York Times. Some protesters later ended up at a gas station not far from the courthouse, where a group of armed men stood outside and argued with protesters, promised to protect the property from damage, according to the newspaper. Police responded to reports of shots being fired and multiple gunshot victims in the vicinity of 63rd Street and Sheridan Road around 11:45 p.m., the Kenosha Police Department said in a news release. 2 of the gunshot victims have since died, police said, while a 3rd was transported to a hospital with serious injuries that are not life-threatening. No further details about the incident was revealed, nor details about the victims. But Kenosha County Sheriff David Beth told the Times that his office's investigation is focused on the group of men with guns outside the gas station. The sheriff's office has been contacted for additional comment. Several videos posted on social media captured the immediate aftermath of the shooting. Reporter Drew Hernandez shared a clip on Twitter where several shots are heard ringing out. Several people are seen crowding around a man who appears to have been shot in the head and applying pressure to his wound. Quote, "It appears an armed citizen was defending the car dealership and opened fire on the rioter who was attempting to vandalize or burn the dealership down," he wrote in another tweet. Quote, "Someone has been shot in what appears to be the head while looting a car shop," Elijah Schaefer, a Blaze TV reporter, tweeted alongside a video showing people tending to the man's injuries. Quote, "I cannot confirm the exact wound location, but he's white and losing a lot of blood." Shelby Talcott, a reporter with the Daily Caller, tweeted that her colleague Richie McGinnis carried one shooting victim into a car. A video she later showed shows several okay. A video she later shared shows several people placing a wounded man to placing a wounded man to a car across the street from a hospital. Quote, "The victim is at the hospital. Richie McGinnis is there. He's okay. Said he believes a second gunshot victim just arrived," she wrote alongside the video. In another video shared by Schaefer, a witness is seen speaking to a police officer about the perpetrators of the shooting. Official witness making a statement to officers that it was the Boogaloo Boy militia protecting a business that was being destroyed, Schaefer tweeted. A second witness told me the same account off camera. The Boogaloo, also known as the Boogaloo Boys or the Boogaloo Movement, is an extremist group whose members have reportedly shown up at protests against police brutality as well as protests against stay-at-home orders amid the COVID-19 pandemic in recent months. According to the Anti-Defamation League, those who have become associated with the term range from militia groups to white supremacists. This article has been updated with additional information. So there you go. That was the most neutral article that I could find about this. Of course, there's other articles and other videos out there. Watched a lot of videos. It's interesting because in the video evidence guns, there was a video of what looked like a man running from a mob and then them catching up to him, and he's carrying what looks like an AR-15, being chased by a mob of people, and then they kind of trip him or take him down. And then he kind of opens up with his AR-15. I believe that's where one of the men was shot in the chest. But that certainly didn't look like, just some guy sniping people from a car dealership. This person, I think in all accounts is going to, is a defensible shooting because it was very obvious self-defense. Not really sure what the other situations were. But there was also, who is this guy's name? I might need to look for it real quick. But there was a protester who got shot in the arm. I believe he's the one that didn't die that they refer to. And he also had a gun. So there was... This was not just an account, as it's sort of portrayed in Newsweek here, of just some people with guns shooting other people without guns. It looked like there was a bit of a shootout with some exchange of fire there. But what have you heard about this?
Well, with this particular incident, I mean, I haven't looked into it too much, but it's just one of those aftermath deals where you have the situation with the Blake situation, and he lives, and then the protests and all the riots and all the burning and all the same kind of stuff, and now we got 2 people dead, and it's just man, the whole thing is sad, I think, in general, because a lot of these people are probably not fully aware of what they're a part of, and when I say that, I mean that they may think that they're standing for some kind of truth. And that's true with anybody that's trying to genuinely go and protest and do all the stuff on either side of the conversation. But they're really just being drawn into this divide and conquer thing that is blindly sort of pushing both sides to be at tension with each other. And, it's, man, it's just, I hate seeing anybody go down like this. And of course, he's white. I like the tweet too. I don't know. I can't confirm anything other than he's white.
No, he's white and he's losing a lot of blood.
Right. Is his blood different color too? Or,
Yeah. Ooh, maybe there you go. Digging deeper into the comment. He's white, but his blood is red like mine. So let me hop over real quick just because I kind of want to try to cover a lot. There's a lot to cover here, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, before you go on, I looked up the Crump guy here.
Tell us about this guy.
He's sort of the celebrity lawyer for all these civil rights things going on. He was behind the Johnson & Johnson baby powder lawsuit. He represented Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. Now he's representing Jacob Blake. He's also...
So it's the same lawyer for all of these shootings. Yeah, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, but even Trayvon Martin. I mean, just pretty much all the ones that are being sort of spotlighted by the media as the fuel behind the BLM movement is basically represented by this guy. So
I wonder, is he with some sort of organization?
I think he runs his own thing. Yeah,
it's kind of weird. It's like a very specific type of ambulance chaser. I'm not sure exactly what to think about that yet, but it's the same guy taking on all of these cases that have popped up over the past few months, and they're all the ones connected with the rioting and the looting and the protesting. There you go. All sorts of different ways that it's manifesting. That Crump guy, I don't know. We might have to look into it a little more.
I just hope, if there's some kind of lawsuit between Trump and this guy, it'll be Trump versus Crump.
Well, who is Stormy Daniels' lawyer? What was that guy's name?
I don't remember.
Shoot, I forget it. It seems like such a lifetime ago.
Michael something.
That was... I forget, but he was talking about running for president against Trump, and then of course he got caught extorting Nike for
Michael Cohen.
Was it that guy?
Yeah,
I don't remember. I thought it was a more Italian name, but that's okay. It's not important. Yeah. So let me jump over here to District Herald. This is a right-leaning outlet here. But it'll make a couple points. Call the police trends on Twitter after Kenosha Black Lives Matter rioter calls for help from law enforcement following shooting. This has been something that's been sort of mocked and called out on the right for a while, even with some other shootings back in the whole statue tear down phase of things. A mob of people chasing a person on the right, and then the person on the right pulling their gun in self-defense, and then all the rioters shouting, "Call the police! Wait, defund the police! Wait, I don't know. Do something." The article reads, "Call the police" was trending on Twitter after Kenosha rioters screamed for help from law enforcement following one of the shootings on Tuesday evening. Multiple people are injured, and there are reports of numerous shootings in the city. At least 3 people were shot, with much of the carnage captured on video. In one of the videos of a man who had been shot in the head, a man helping him can be heard screaming for someone to call the police. Then they got some tweets there to make a point. Independent reporter CJ Halliburton said that people are getting shot all around us during his live stream as gunshots rang out. The social media commentators mocked the fact that the Black Lives Matters rioters went from defund the police to call the police so quickly. Quote, "The Wisconsin BLM anarchists said, 'Call the police,' after they were shot. But just the night before, they tried to burn all the local precincts to the ground," Republican activist Michael Caudry tweeted. I'm going to scoot down here. They just like posting a lot of...
it's weird because I don't have the same article as you.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at it now, and they've changed it.
Okay, yeah, it's like much shorter than what you're reading.
Yeah, let me see here. Can find something else. Oh, yep. Okay. This is from another article, or maybe it was the one I meant, over on District Herald. Let me scroll down to some of the facts that they were talking about here. Lots of videos, really kind of gruesome, a lot of these videos of the shootings here. I don't know. Maybe we'll wait for some more facts to come out. People are just posting tweets and videos and stuff. Anyways, pretty crazy. Now, I wanted to bring this up in the context that we've been talking about for a couple months now, and that is the sort of risk or the push or the agitation towards not just a race war, which we sort of tongue-in-cheek talk about it as, but an actual civil war. And what we've been seeing is escalation of this violence. And of course, you've got the Second Amendment people showing up, exercising their rights to defend businesses and other structures and things like that. But, we've come to this point where now the protesters are showing up with guns. And this is just a tinderbox. And when I talk about a potential civil war situation, I don't know. I used to talk about it in sort of almost an exaggeration, of like, this violence is breaking out and can be compared metaphorically to a civil war. But there's just more and more guns showing up on both sides of this, which is just, has the potential to turn into, if not a civil war, at least some sort of like gang war type of thing, with groups on both sides now being labeled by the FBI as terrorist or extremist groups, which I think more than anything is setting up a situation where the federal government will come try to put everybody down and take away all the guns. This is a real Second Amendment type of confrontation we're having here. And it's a great setup for an administration that may want to, crack down on gun ownership in America. So it's just one of these kind of catch-22 situations going on. Yeah.
And we'll see, even if we've talked about this before, but even if the Republicans and Trump wins another 4 years, it's likely that you're going to get more of a left-leaning politician to get in there in 2024. And at that point, we're probably going to see a lot more changes to the country, if not already at that point, where they're really going to try to push for all the gun confiscation. I'm sure the technology is going to be a big role in all of this. And yeah, I just, you know, we were talking before we went live. We were just we weren't arguing, but we were just kind of having an interesting discussion about the
I
whole
think we
situation.
do have a little bit of a disagreement here, and I think that's okay.
It wasn't
if we
an
want to get
argument
into
though,
it.
but yeah, but I think a lot of this is obviously, you know, being pushed by an unseen hand. You know, Edward Bernays talked about how, you know, Edward Bernays being the father of propaganda, and he has a quote that where he talks about, you know, the unseen hand and how most of what people believe is being controlled by the very few and all this kind of stuff. And in this situation, when you talk about a civil war, it's all on the perception of what is happening. And I think that's where, you know, trying to be on the narrow path, not even like center or politically or anything like that, but just trying to kind of, you know, balance the things out of what is really happening and understanding that a lot of it is perception based. It's really hard to analyze anything these days and not be labeled into one camp or another. And in this situation, I feel like with any kind of military type of thing, it's almost like there are every ideology is being ramped up. You know, if you're a libertarian, you know, you have your positive, you know, you have a positive side of the argument for libertarianism, but there's also sort of the negative side too, which is true for any side of the argument of defending yourself and all this stuff. When it comes to that, it's like
it is dangerous.
It's dangerous, right? It's a little more dangerous.
Libertarianism is a dangerous is a dangerous system, and that's what libertarians like about it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, don't hear me wrong. When I say libertarianism is dangerous, I'm not saying it's bad necessarily, but that's why people don't like libertarianism, is because there's not, you know, people like to have boundaries.
Right.
They like to know what they can and can't do. And I'm just talking about, you know, what you might call the sheeple, or just the regular, you know, people who value safety over liberty. And libertarians are opposite. They want liberty no matter how dangerous it is.
Right. So you got those people being fired up with all this going on. You also have, you know, the racial divide, obviously the group being labeled Boogaloo boys or whatever. We've talked about the black militia out there walking around with guns and, you know, making their presence known. But then you also have the police state that hasn't gone away. You know what I mean? Like the police state itself that, you know, at the beginning of 10 years ago, when we talk about conspiracy theories and the New World Order, it was all about this overpowering police state that would come in and try to take over the people and the people's rights and all this kind of stuff. And now that's all confused because you have a lot of conservative and right-wing people saying like, yeah, send in the National Guard and get him, you know, restore order and stuff like that, which is
the sudden support for martial law.
Yeah. It's like this weird flippening that happened.
Yeah. The craziest sort of ideological jujitsu being executed on the right.
And it just seems like every group is being hypercharged to have some kind of violent standoff. And that's why I think we just have to be careful when we start to identify with one argument or one group with another or whatever it is. You're being profiled. You know, you're being profiled, and it's much easier to herd the masses into some kind of group and do it like that than it is to you know, have some kind of random, I don't know, like rogue guy like us, Basil. We're rogue. We're rogue from all political affiliation, which is good and bad. You know, we don't have to answer to anybody except God, but also we don't get the kind of sponsorship that you would get from
the enthusiasm,
or the enthusiasm of the QAnon folks or anything. You know, we're just we're not going to ride those trains as they come through. But
the narrow, unpopular path.
We're like the tortoise. You know, we're just kind of long and steady, right?
That's right.
We're not going to jump on the hair there. But
sorry,
no, go ahead.
Cut you off if you're working your way towards something.
Well, did you want to look at that footage, talk about the whole situation with? I
think we should do opening statements. I think this is going to be an ongoing conversation, but I think that we both have some important things that we just need to say outright, knowing full well that all the facts aren't available. There's all sorts of alternative facts floating around. And so there isn't quite a solidified story on this, but I think we should just give our our first thoughts, and then it will develop it over coming episodes.
Right. Did you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Well, I think since you have control of the video over there, we should walk through the video for the podcast listeners, for audio listeners, so they know what video we're talking about. So I'll just give a little preempt here, and then you can play it and walk us through beat by beat and what happens on the video. If you have not seen it, we're watching the what's this guy's name yet? It has
Jacob
not
Blake.
Yet. Jacob Blake has not yet been.
It's okay. Even
cemented in my mind.
Even LeBron James messed it up on live air.
Oh no!
It was an interview, and he said James Blake. Oh, I mean Jacob Blake. I'm sorry.
Jacob Blake. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the Jacob Blake video. There's two angles. One is so it's on a street. There's a gray SUV. There's, I believe, 4 cops and a number of bystanders shouting and things happening. We will just give the regular sort of disclaimer here. This is a video of a man getting shot by the police. So if that's something you do not want to witness, I recommend you mute the video or come back later and check back in. But there you go. So it won't take you by surprise. Now, Gons, when you're ready, just try to give us the best description of the video as we go through.
Sure. So there's 2 videos that have become public. One of them is from the right side of the car in question here, and it shows. Well, let's do this. The second footage that came out shows what happened before. So let me go on a timeline here. So
Okay.
there's a few people. There's I think the mother, and I think maybe the fiance. I don't know who all these people are, but there's about 3 people walking towards the commotion. You can see a commotion going on. You can see 2 police officers kind of doing something with Blake. Blake is kind of
he's on the ground.
He's on the ground. They're kind of wrestling him to the ground. And it's kind of shaky footage. I wish we can put a stabilizer on it and we can do all that. I mean, somebody's going to do that. Yeah, from what I understand, this is when Blake was tased. And, I'm looking at it right now. It almost looks like he was trying to cuff him.
Something, yeah. He's kind of got him on the ground, and he's being engaged by police. And then what I thought was really strange was the cop just kind of lets him go. And he stands up and begins walking towards the car, and that's sort of the beginning of the next video that we see.
Right.
Yeah.
So once he stands up, he kind of and this is all happening on the. If you're looking at the car, it's the left. Well, it's the right side of the car. It's left side when you're looking at it. And yeah, once he gets up, he walks around the front of the car, and the cop is kind of like walking behind him.
Right behind him.
Right
with
behind
his gun
him.
pointed at him.
Gun pointed at him, and this is where there's some still frame shots that people have pointed out. It looks like he's got a knife in his hand. Very hard to tell with all these, the grainy footage there. And he walks towards the driver's side of the vehicle. He opens the door of the driver's side, and at this point, right before he opens the door, the cop grabs his tank top, his shirt. Yep. And but then he kind of just ignores it and opens the door. He looks like he's trying to reach in or get in, and this is the point where the cop point blank fires rounds into Jacob Blake's back. I mean, it's really point blank, like right in front.
Yeah, 7 shots point blank into the back. Now, there's been reports that we can't really solidify right now, but there's been reports, like you said, that he had a knife, been reports that he claimed to have a gun in the car, been reports, there's background reports on him, that he has a number of criminal I guess a number of things on his record.
Yeah, that part of it I think is fairly. That part I think is true. I actually found, and I don't know if I can pull it up right here and now, but there was an article from 2015, same area, named Jacob Blake, and I think there was a Kenosha County case number that came out. That's public now, but it was true that he did have an arrest warrant out for some kind of sexual assault, as well as back in 2015, he was, I don't know if he was arrested at that point, but
yeah,
he
I
got in
don't want to
trouble.
go into it too much because the point is, yeah, he has a criminal record.
Yes.
But my thing is, I'm not sure if the cops knew that at the time. So I'm not even sure if that's a valid.
I don't
if it's even important.
I actually do think it's important if the cops knew or not.
Because, no, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I think it is important if they know or not. If they didn't know, that sets up a different situation than if they were aware of who he is and his record.
Right.
So that's a detail that we don't know that will, add to the conversation eventually.
Right. And so if they did know, because there was a domestic abuse or some kind of domestic situation, which is why the police were called in the first place with, I think it was a fiance. I think she was the one that called the cops. And so on the way, if they did do some kind of profiling of who it is they're, going to...
you got it a little mixed up here. Here's the situation. There's a domestic dispute between two women. I think, I don't know exactly who they are. They may have been like his ex and someone else.
Okay.
The cops had been called out to the domestic a domestic incident between these two women, and Blake came later to try to help break it up, try to help, mediate the situation. Now, something happened where Blake ended up getting in that little tussle with the cops. He calmly walks around the front of his SUV, the cops with their guns drawn, following closely behind. He opens the door to his SUV. He leans in. By then, the cop has him by the shirt and then fires 7 shots into his back. Now, I'll just start out first, Gons, which is... all things considered, even if he has a record, even if, if he said, I'm going to go get my gun and shoot you cops, that's obviously a different situation, but that's an unconfirmed thing. But knowing what I know about excessive force, also I'm taking from some experience with firearms training and certain types of licensing. I've taken a lot of classes. This is an area I don't talk about it a lot, but I have a certain amount of knowledge about the use of force, and especially with firearms. I was a little bit taken aback by the fact that the cop was right on him. I mean, he's holding him by the shirt. And one thing when it comes to firearms, and this is true for the police as well, but especially true in a self-defense armed citizen situation, you are supposed to exhaust all of our other options before using lethal force. And so my first thing when watching this video was, this would, if you were trying, an armed citizen trying to go for a self-defense type of situation, there would be no way that self-defense would hold up in court if this wasn't a cop. I mean, you shot him 7 times in the back at point blank range. You already had a hand on him. The cop could have done many things besides putting 7 rounds in his back. You could have tased him again, could have put him, grabbed him, put him in a little chokehold, subdued him, could have hit him with a baton, could have done a number of things. And this is just the reality of the situation. I'm not putting any technical judgment on this. There's definitely more suitable people who are much more knowledgeable than I that are breaking this down. But a lot of them are saying, this was a situation, and it was one of the craziest things was it was such a slow moving situation. Usually when cops are discharging firearms in a situation like this, it's during a tussle or there's some quick movements or, there's an aspect of, things are just moving so fast I had to make a decision. There's a good period of time where they're sort of slowly walking around the car. He's not running. He's not, when he opens the door, he kind of is like casually opening the door to his car. Now, I will say, if you just got in a tussle with the cops and and they had you on the ground. You're not gonna just get in your car and drive away. That's not gonna happen. So I think that was a misjudgment for sure on Mr. Blake's part. But I really do think this cop made a misjudgment. I think that firing the 7 shots into his back at that moment when he had much more time than usual to assess the situation, I think he may have just gotten out of hand. I think he got a little frustrated. He didn't like how Blake was not following orders. And I think he just lost his head, man. And I don't think this is defensible as far as lethal force by the police are concerned. Now, let me be clear. I'm not trying to say that this was a racist cop just killing a black guy because he wanted to. I'm just saying, on a very technical law enforcement firearm sense, this was a little bit outside the bounds of an obviously defensible use of lethal force.
Right. Okay. So some of the things, a couple things we do agree on, and I think we need to highlight this point too. Nowhere in our argument did we bring up the idea that this was racially driven. And that's what the media and the whole BLM and the protests and riots and the NBA shutting down more games and boycotting and whatever, all that has to do with race, which in my opinion, who's the racist if all you see is race in these types of situations? But in any case, the one thing I will say to sort of counter what you're alleging here with, and again, neither of us have all the facts, so we don't know, but the police officers, if I'm not mistaken, you do have a lot more training than I do when it comes to this stuff. So, just correct me if I'm wrong, but police officers have the authority to use force if they feel that they or innocent bystanders are, in a situation where they're under threat, correct? If there's so knowing that there were children in the car, knowing that there were other people around, and if he had suggested that he was pulling a gun out of the car, that's a big deal if we don't know or not. But
that
here's
changes
the thing.
Everything if that's what he said.
It does, but also if you're already resisting arrest and you've already been tased and you're getting up and you're walking and you're just sort of ignoring him, you know what? I will agree. It looked a little excessive to fire in 7 rounds, but this is a
thing kills me.
The point blank thing, it does.
There's so many other options.
Yeah, but this is a situation where the police has to make, and police officers are trained to de-escalate, but he had to make a real tough decision here, because let's say he did have a gun and he was reaching for it, it could be that we can be talking about a story where a black man killed a police officer, so it's literally a split second thing where he had to make this decision. And so, and that's the risk and the challenge that police officers live with every day, given any kind of situation they walk into, is making those hard decisions. And so I think that's why in this case, again, we don't have all the facts, so we don't know, but I don't think he's going to get the kind of punishment that people are hoping for.
No,
not just because he's a cop, but because with facts coming out. I will say this though. I will say that not having a vest cam is kind of weird. I think the county or the area had some kind of plan to implement it in like 2025 or something like that.
Oh, they don't even have any in that precinct.
No, I don't think they do. Yeah, it was something that they.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's something, and that's what's really interesting about this whole thing too, is because defund the police. Well, then you're going to have a lot more of this type of stuff with a lot less, information.
And they're not going to afford video.
They're not going to be able to afford video.
Body cams, yeah.
Yeah, and knowing, I mean, here's the thing too. Cops have to know at this point that there's probably people, videotaping the situation. They can't do like a knee chokehold, right? That's going to probably, I don't know if that's running through his head. I have no idea. But given what the situation was, I do, and again, just looking at the footage, I do tend to think that maybe the cop had the right to pull the trigger. Maybe not 7 times, but maybe he did see a gun in there. I don't know, but it just seems like it's one of those tough situations.
if he saw a gun on the front seat, or if, he saw, but even, I know, I'm just trying to get less people shot by the cops without.
I agree with you 100%. 100%. If there's a way we can make this happen, we just send in the robots, whatever, right?
Oh gosh, no.
Send in Flippy.
That's another part of this whole thing is it's going to be a great reason to activate RoboCops, and then we're all screwed.
It is.
DJP3 Ace in the Twitch chat says, but how can we deny the fact, Gons, that we see videos of white people doing things like this and literally fighting cops and living? You will never see.
Yeah, I've seen the same. I've heard that argument, and they always share the same footage of this guy coming out and using, I don't know, he looked like he was on drugs or something, like whipping around. Here's the thing. You can use any kind of footage of one or the other to support an argument in some kind of isolated case to support your bias in this situation.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why this is a difficult conversation to have, because even the statistics that are out there are being disputed by academics and stuff.
I don't think we need to go into the meta of it all right now.
Right.
But just as first words on the thing, I understand this is a very difficult situation, and you got to put it in context. The context of, these cops are probably had it up to, their necks in all the police hate, and they're probably on edge, and they're probably frustrated, and they're thinking, well, what does this guy think he can do? Just get tased and get wrestled and then get in his car and drive away? Of course. But I'm saying the way that these police these incidences are dealt with in the court of law. Oh man, and now I'm blanking on the phrase, but they really bring it down to the moment of the gun firing. That's what it's all predicated on. And in the moment of they take everything into consideration, but when it comes to passing judgment on the cops, they really bring it down to like the second or the split second he had to make the decision. And that's what makes this particular incident so difficult, is like I said, it's not like it was a split second tussle that he had to make the decision. He's following. Hold on.
Yeah.
They're slowly, they're sort of strolling around the car. He's got his gun to the guy's back the entire time. That would have been an instance with the guy's back turned to him, could have taken a little bit of a, physical route, grabbed him. And again, I know it's hard to say at this point. I'm saying put him in a chokehold, grab him. But of course, in today's climate, even saying put him in a chokehold is
you're going to be canceled, man.
I know it's as bad. It's like Biden saying shoot him in the leg at this point. But I'm just saying there were other options that it looked like this cop had. But you got to put yourself in the cop's head. He's probably trying to take it easy. He's got a bunch of witnesses. He's trying not to overreact. And then the split second comes where, he leans in the car and you don't know if there's a gun or not, and you got to do it. But I think a little baton to the head or, to the whatever, or a little grab, a little chokehold, a little taser action, all would have been, he needed to exhaust those options before 7. He had his hands on the guy. He had his hand on Blake.
I will say they should have
7 point-blank rounds. That's a hard one to defend.
Okay, I will say that cops in general should be in better shape. I will say that. Maybe they need to have some kind of body fat index to, if you're going to have any reform,
I'm sure they do.
Get him on a treadmill or something. And just, as one more response to that, whoever that was in the chat. There's video footage that can support my argument, where a couple of police officers are trying to they pull over a guy, they're trying to arrest him. He resists and he walks over to his car. Same kind of situation, kind of a slow situation. Reaches in his car, pulls out a gun. 2 cops get shot.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's really a split second, momentary thing, and without all the facts, we're just not going to be able to come to any kind of hard conclusion. But I hear you, man. I do think 7.
There's things and I'm not even that tripped out about the 7 bullets. I mean, that's the thing with police. There's this And this is for anybody trained in shooting, whether you have a CCW or you have whatever, or you're a cop or you're security or something. This whole Hollywood idea of like just wounding them and then or shooting the gun out of their hand or something like that. The 7 shots doesn't even trip me out, because the fact of the matter is, when you're at the point where you are discharging a firearm, they're trained to shoot to kill. You don't shoot to wound. You don't shoot to scare or to disarm. You always shoot to kill. If you're pulling the trigger, your intention is to kill. And that's just the training. And that's what, that's just what it is. And so that's why 7 shots happened, is because that's what you do. You shoot to kill. But I think a couple things that cannot be explained by me or anybody who's putting out the facts right now. Why was he on the ground subdued, and why did they let him go? And then why, in this situation, did they even let him stroll over to the driver's side of the car? Why even let him get that far? And then on the last point being, you already had your hands on him. You were in a position where you could have subdued them and then made the choice to shoot. Those are all the very interesting parts of this incident that make it extremely complicated. I mean, why did they let him off the ground? I don't understand. I just don't understand. But there you go. There's first thoughts. I'll let you finish it out if you have anything else.
You're wrong. No, I'm kidding. I don't. Yeah, we just don't know. And yeah, it would have been nice if the cop was like, dance, and started shooting at the ground, and like Back to the Future 3. Do you remember that scene?
Mm-hmm.
Where Biff comes in and he tells him to dance, and Michael Jackson shot the. Anyway, it would have been nice if it's ideal like that. But again, in these situations, either way, whatever happened, it doesn't matter, because the damage is done. The propaganda is spun. Businesses have been burnt down. Car dealerships have been burnt down. 2 people have died. So the damage is done already, and the propaganda persists, and so the race wars are on. I guess there's just more of it.
And the timing is incredible. I mean, when things were just starting to calm down, of course, another incident happens, and that's what makes all the details of this highly suspicious. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we can go to the farthest edges of the fringe and say this whole thing was staged because because the whole George Floyd thing was a little, like you said, it was dying down. The extra footage came out. It looks like he couldn't breathe before he was ever on the ground. Losing a little gusto in the argument there. So frame up another incident, and let's go from there with the race wars, especially during the election year. Frotic in the Twitch chat says, if they didn't have their guns drawn, it looks like they were walking him back to the car to say goodbye. That's what I'm saying. Take the guns out of this situation and just look at the way they're moving. It is so casual and strange. If there were no guns in hands, it looks like the cop was going to go open the door for him and let him get into the car. Very strange. All right. Okay, should we move on?
Let's move on.
Of course, we'll be looking at this more as more facts come out, and as more propaganda comes out, and as more riots happen and everything. But this happened, and it led to more riots. I mean, they were riots. They were destroying public property, which led to armed citizens getting in a shootout on both sides there. I mean, this one guy is like a martyr. He was one of the rioters, and this dude's arm got really messed up from a rifle round. And there's all sorts of pictures, but one of them is he's got his arm all screwed up and he's holding a pistol. He was obviously armed, and you get shot at when you shoot at people. That's the thing.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right.
Yeah. And I'll just read this headline to close it out. This is the independent.co.uk. It doesn't matter if Jacob Blake committed a crime. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that he was a criminal.
And that's a whole part of this too, is like, it doesn't matter how I'm just going from the part of the conversation that's going on. I haven't quite decided on this. I understand where they're coming from, but the point that, just because he got up and walked to his car doesn't necessarily mean that that's a death sentence. But, it all depends if he had a gun in the car and stuff. But I understand the conversation.
A lot of variables.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to a big story, and we might even do a full-on live stream. Or actually, I think Friday we will do a live stream surrounding this topic. And it's concerning Elon Musk.
The four horsemen of the technocalypse.
Anytime you see the four horsemen, it's something special.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
We are already connected, Basil. Entrepreneur.com. There's a whole bunch of articles coming out now about this. Elon Musk teases working Neuralink device reveal on August 28th. That's a couple days from today. And this is a story by Steve Dent. Elon Musk has revealed more details about a promised development update for Neuralink, the brain-computer interface designed to help folks with severe brain injuries. Musk said the company will show, quote, working Neuralink device during a live webcast on Friday, August 28th at 3 p.m. Pacific. And there's a couple tweets that Elon had sent out. And have you watched the video here? Oop, it opened up a whole Twitter thing. We'll do the video later. Let's go on with the article. Last summer, Neuralink showed off its progress at a detailed launch event. A, quote, sewing machine robot would plant thread-like electrodes deep into a human brain.
That makes me cringe.
I know, which would connect to a pod worn behind the ear that could then transmit brain signals over Bluetooth, allowing subjects to control a computer or have their brain activity monitored or hacked. I added that last part, but Bluetooth, really? Couldn't come up with a better, more safer communicate. Anyway, Neuralink said it first aims to help amputees or restore the ability to see, talk, and listen. While the company hasn't announced any human testing, it has been tried on primates, with Musk saying, quote, a monkey has been able to control a computer with its brain, which is not new. They did this like a long time ago, too.
This is with the Neuralink, though.
I know, but they already...
I know.
They did this before.
We're not impressed by your computer, monkey, Musk.
They had monkeys control a robot arm across the internet like 10, 15 years ago or something.
Uh-huh.
Catch up, Musk. Okay. Musk said that the technology shown on Friday would be, quote, awesome compared to what we've seen so far. Quote, don't want to get too excited, but the potential is truly transformational for restoring brain and motor functions, he tweeted earlier this year. We don't have a link yet for the live stream, but the last event was streamed on Neuralink's YouTube channel. And that's all for this story here. And again, everyone's hyping this up. And I get the feeling it's going to be kind of bland and maybe boring.
I know. It's one of those things, especially because we've been following Neuralink for years. I mean, since it was first announced, this was like, well, I don't know, something like 3 to 5 years ago he's been talking about this, maybe even longer.
Probably longer,
And so we've always been talking about this Neuralink, following the news, following Musk's comments, really building on this narrative of the Neuralink, and especially how it fits into, the worldview, the Canary Cry worldview, where that's sort of the beginning of the end. And obviously the connection with transhumanism and the spiritual ramifications of that and everything. So Neuralink, we've been following forever. And to actually have it, we're 2 days away, Gons.
I know.
2 days. So yeah, we might have to do some live commentary on that whole thing. We'll have to figure out how to pipe it in. But yeah, I think you're right. It'll either be incredible or it will be nothing.
It'll be like, look at this monkey move the mouse on the screen. Look at it go.
Right. I mean, he's got to be pretty confident about something, though, if he's doing a full-on, press release, or not press release, but a full-on demonstration and stuff. There's got to be some news that we haven't already heard of.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not just all positive and excitement stuff here, because there's also a little bit of FUD. If you guys don't know what FUD is, it's fear, uncertainty, and doubt regarding this technology. And that leads us to our second story about this whole situation here.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
And, my gosh, there's so many pop-ups here. This is dailymail.co.uk. Do you want to take this one, Basil? Oh, did I lose him? Oh, no. Lost him again. Hold on, let me try to bring him back here. Bring him back from the mortal virtual reality head wound. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Come on. Man, this is really... Yeah, I'm trying to click call, and it's not calling. Interesting. Come on, Skype. There we go. Oop. There you go. You back?
I'm back.
All right, good.
All right.
It's not as bad. We haven't had too many issues, but...
No, it's been okay today, but we still have some...
I know, we still got issues. I was going to ask if you wanted to take this article.
Yeah, I'll take this.
Okay.
We're going from dailymail.co.uk. The headline paragraph reads, Elon Musk's brain chip Neuralink is plagued by turmoil, rushed timelines, and failed experiments on animals. Former employees claim just days before the firm is set to show neurons firing in real time. Elon Musk has kept a tight lid on his brain implant chip startup Neuralink, but the billionaire is set to show neurons firing in real time on August 28th. That doesn't sound as exciting as I want, but okay. The unveiling will be a major event for the firm, but according to former Neuralink employees, the progress has come at a cost. I mean, what else is new with this guy? Ex-staff member told Stat that the company is plagued by internal conflict and the slow pace of science could not keep up with Musk's demanding timelines.
Sounds familiar.
I know. Same story with his solar, what was it? Was he Solar City? And also Tesla. They claim scientists were given weeks to complete certain projects, knowing the research needed longer to perfect, creating a pressure cooker within the company. Neuralink was also found to test its surgical procedure on monkeys, even though the system posed a risk to the animals, a former employee told Stat. Of course they're testing on monkeys, man. That's not surprising to anybody. The report surfaced days before Musk is set to show off the firm's latest progress, which some suggest will be a demonstration of a monkey moving a cursor on a computer screen.
I was right.
There it is. Oh, that's good. You know how things work, guys.
I figured it out before.
DailyMail.com has reached out to Neuralink for comment and has yet to receive a response. Neuralink, which was founded in 2016, there you go, 4 years, is designing tiny flexible threads that are 10 times thinner than a human hair with the goal of treating brain injuries and trauma, of course. Ultimately, the technology could one day enable symbiosis between humans and artificial intelligence. Symbiosis, I don't think that's the right word.
I think it is, because that's part of the... symbiosis
means that both parties gain a benefit from this.
Yeah,
so
that's been his argument.
Yes, so using the word symbiosis implies that the robots benefit from being implanted in our brains.
Listen to the jingle again.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
He calls us symbiotes.
That's the spooky part. Why do we care if the machines get a benefit from us? It's supposed to be us benefiting from the machines.
That's been his argument the whole time, though, that AI is going to take over, so we better merge with it before it becomes our overlords.
I know.
That's been the whole thing.
We need to take down Skynet.
Yep.
Ultimately, the technology could one day enable symbiosis between humans and artificial intelligence, and Musk says it could happen in just a measly 25 years. However, according to Stat, there are now only 2 of the 8 founding scientists left at the firm due to the turmoil that has plagued the company. Quote, this examination is based on interviews with 5 former Neuralink employees, all of whom spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not permitted to discuss the work publicly or were concerned about facing retribution. from the AI overlord, and 4 independent experts and competitors working in brain-machine interface research. No kidding. The competition didn't have nice things to say about Neuralink. Weird. Musk told Joe Rogan in May that Neuralink will have a version ready for human trials within a year. Scientific papers show that the firm has tested its technology in rats and monkeys, but is yet to do so with human subjects or even state that they are close to this step. Former employees said Neuralink was looking to China or Russia to carry out human studies, as the U.S. regulatory process is difficult to pass through. The implant is about 1 inch in diameter, similar to the face of a smartwatch, and is implanted by removing a small chunk of the skull. Yikers, chunk. That is the most vivid way to describe that. A small robot connects the thread-like electrodes to certain areas of the brain, stitched up the whole, and the only visible remains is a scar left behind from the incision. The sewing robot is said to cost between $10 million and $20 million in startup cash, but now can be made for about $500,000. What a deal. The staff primarily consists of scientists, which said creates tension because the firm is two-faced because it switches between a tech company and a medical device company, one former employee said. They are building a medical device and a surgical approach to implant that medical device, and they're approaching it with the use of a tech company. Move fast and break things. Okay. Yeah, some Mark Zuckerberg reference there. Yeah. Along with the identity crisis, the company has a demanding culture that one former employee described as a pressure cooker, and much of the staff felt completely overwhelmed. The turmoil eventually created rifts between engineers and neuroscientists who argued about leadership and strategies to get the company off the ground, said several ex-staff members who noted Musk typically sided with the engineers during such conflicts. In July, Twitter users Pranay Pathol tweeted Musk asking, can Neuralink be used to retrain the part of the brain which is responsible for causing addiction or depression? Quote, it'd be great if Neuralink can be used for something like curing addiction, depression. Musk, who is known to personally respond to his fans, shared, for sure, this is both great and terrifying. Everything we've ever sensed or thought has been electrical signals. The early universe was just a soup of quarks and leptons. How did a very small piece of the universe start to think of itself as sentient? Okay, Elon. The advances, however, are a result of pushing scientists to complete which should take months in just weeks. Stats gives an example from 2017, blah, blah, blah. They kind of just do a bunch of filler for the rest of the article. Let me peruse the conclusion if you have anything to say.
Well, the sentence you were reading there, they put 10,000 electrodes into a brain of a live sheep in one surgical process. The experiment failed. So sheep and monkeys, apparently. Fun. But yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to raise sort of the ethical concerns there with, just moving ahead with certain. Where's PETA? Is PETA going to be protesting this whole situation here on Friday, or? Yeah,
what we haven't heard of a lot lately is like eco-terrorism. Setting all the animals free in the zoo. We need some more of that. This would be a great time, just judging off of how 2020 has been going. This is a great opportunity for live on the air. They'll, bring their monkey out there, tell him to move a cursor on a screen, and then he there live on the air takes control of Skynet and launches the nukes and things like that. That's kind of what I'm expecting at this point in 2020.
He just hacks the internet. Yeah, and everybody's computer screens is the monkey.
All websites. Every website gets replaced with a
virtual monkey
of bananas
throwing poop at the screen. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So there you go. Very exciting. We're gonna tune in. Hopefully, we'll just watch live and just either watch the end of a monkey end the human race, or watch a monkey do something pretty unexhilarating.
Well, I've talked about and mentioned how Planet of the Apes was a documentary So maybe this is part of the beginning of that. The monkeys rebel, but then they're enhanced.
It's Caesar. If they bring the monkey on and he's named Caesar, that's the time, folks.
It's happening.
Get your anti-monkey spray.
Before we go into the break, I do want to mention how a technology like this is very much reminiscent of some eschatological passages that you find in Revelation 13. I've talked about this on the FaceLikeTheSun channel quite a bit. But Revelation 13, it talks about the first beast that comes up, and it's got many heads. And one of the heads appeared to be mortally wounded, but the mortal wound was healed, and the whole world marveled and followed the beast, which is an interesting thing because, if there's a head wound that happens to a leader, a world leader of some kind, and
like
Elon,
an inch of their skull getting taken out.
Yeah, something like that. And Elon or whoever is able to, quote unquote, resurrect this individual or bring them back to a functioning capacity, the world would marvel. The world would be like, "Whoa, man, you did it! You made it happen."
Yeah, that's interesting.
And it's interesting as well because you keep reading, and of course you get into the second beast that is the false prophet. And this beast, this is verse 12, exercised all the authority of the first beast and caused the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast whose mortal head wound had been healed. So part of the healing process of this head wound is what the world marvels after. And I know a lot of people in the chat are already saying Rome. And yeah, certainly there's a possibility there. But I just don't see that many people marveling at Rome. Like, whoa, they're a different way there. But then you go on to verse 13 where it talks about performing great signs and causing fire from heaven, which is sort of an prophet Elijah situation. And then verse 14, because of the signs it was given to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived those who dwell on the earth, telling them to make an image to the beast that had been wounded by the sword and yet lived. And so again, very interesting that this wound that takes place is part of this miracle, this the great signs that the second beast performs as lost Basil there again. Just a drop in the call. Interesting.
I'm back.
That was weird. You just dropped.
I know. It started disconnecting, and I figured I'll just make it fast and disconnect myself.
Yeah, see, like the cop. Just make it quick. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay, are you ready for a break?
Yes, let me just wrap this up because what I was mentioning is that part of the deception that the world marvels and is deceived into making the image to the beast is that great signs, and one of those signs being the resurrection or the healing of that mortal head wound. So something to keep in mind, because the image of the beast, obviously we've done a lot of studies on that, and people have talked about how it's a robot or a virtual reality situation or whatever it is. But this image is given breath, and traditionally an image or an idol throughout the Bible is something that doesn't have life, and God mentions it over and over again. There's nothing to an idol or an image, and all of a sudden it's given breath, and it has authority to kill people who don't worship it. That's pretty intense, and it does sound like an AI situation. And obviously that's sort of a modern look at things, but if you're talking about an inanimate object suddenly having something like breath and having all kinds of authority to kill you if you don't worship it, sounds like AI had gone haywire, kind of power tripping. So something to keep in mind, and good reason to study some of these eschatological passages given the current situation we are in the world, the strange world of monkey brain connected Elon Musk brain chips.
There we go. Okay, I think it's time for a quick break, folks, but don't go anywhere, because after the very quick break where we'll be thanking some producers, we got some crazy stories about, one, we got a dead woman waking up. We've got some resurrection happening in the news, as well as some COVID-19 updates, very important stuff. So don't go anywhere, stick around, and Gons, let's take a quick break.
It's break time!
Come on, take a break. Okay, real quick, Gons. I want to thank some of our new Twitch followers. We've been promoting the Twitch channel for a while now, and we are so excited for everybody. Every new follower that we get is a nice little victory. So thank you for those who follow us on Twitch. Gons, you got your dinger ready? Okie dokie, here we go. Just going down the list. Jeez, we got some real doozies today, Gons. I want to thank our new follower, Smoking Crack 840.
Wow.
Straight
to it.
It gets better. The next one is a new follower named Basil's Secret Love Child. Great. Out of hand, folks. Continuing on, we've got Shinmei029, Skycaster 15. Oh, gosh. Ligma Butts. Frappyholic. I'm so scared. XXS Gust XX.
Okay.
Thomas, son of Ander. Angelmanon. Jesus is King 365.
You have such a wide range of listeners.
I know, it's really, really an emotional roller coaster. DJ Delirious 2. Z-Turn 13. Killuminati 1077.
I feel like we've had that one already.
Yeah, some of them, I think they unfollow and refollow to get back on the list. Dooley's Mom 8. Dougie 140. Lily White EE. Matty Bo Jenkins. And there we go. That's all of our new Twitch followers. Thank you guys so much, especially for watching live on the Twitch. Very helpful for us. Now, we want to thank some of our producers. What? Producers? That's right. I said producers. Here's the thing, folks. We are on the value for value model. What does that mean? Well, that means that we do not sell advertisements. We do not bend the knee to the major corporations that want us to consider you a commodity and sell your attention and your trust for our own personal gain. We believe that that's what it is the commoditizing of people, real human beings who just want to hear the truth. And so we decided a long time ago that we will not farm our listeners out to corporate America or international corporations for that matter in order to, just make a buck. So that's why we work on the value for value system, which is, hey, we create some value, we put out the show, we try to be as consistent as possible, and we do the best job we can. And if you get any value out of the show, you then have an opportunity to jump in and help the show. And yeah, a lot of podcasts ask for donations and things like that, but that's not how we do it around here. We don't consider them donations. This is the real world. If you help pay for a piece of media to be produced, you are a producer. So, Gons, I think it's time to thank some of our producers. Are you ready? Okie doke. Got a 500 error. Never seen that before. Wow, all sorts of internal server errors. This is what I try to get for doing things right here. But one of the best ways that you can become a producer of the show is to head to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. There you will see a couple of different options to support the show, or you can put in your own amount there. And Gons, we got some new producers since last show. Are you ready?
I have been ready for a long time.
Okay, so a simple yes would suffice. We want to thank our new producer, Andrew. Thank you very much, Andrew. I want to thank our new producer, Amanda.
Well, the A's today.
Yes, Amanda is a returning producer. So thank you very much, Amanda, for jumping back on the train. Longtime listener and producer. Let's see. We want to thank new producer Matthew. Thank you very much, Andrew, Amanda, and Matthew, coming in at patreon.com/CCNT. And then if we also have another Patreon account for our other show, but we'll give them producer shout outs here as well. And that's patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. And as of the beginning of the show, there are no new producers, but let me just check now, see if anybody came through. And that answer is no. So there we go. Thank you to our new producers on Patreon, Matthew, Amanda, and Andrew. Now, here's the thing, folks. A lot of people don't like Patreon, and that's okay. We get it. If you don't like Patreon, there's another place to become a producer, and that's at canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
Thank you very much. Now, Patreon, we've got PayPal not Patreon. canarycryradio.com/support has PayPal options. You can jump in for a monthly producership, or if commitment's not your thing, you can make a one-time producer support in any amount that you'd like. Any amounts, the 33 support amount is still rolling, and 33 right now is the only support amount which we will share the amount of support at the time. And Gons, who do we got coming in on PayPal? I think we got some 33s, huh?
We do. Before we get to him, though, first off, there's a Elon Muskrat smells bad or some kind of name there in the chat. Was very upset that we were talking smack about him.
Oh, so, Elon. I know. We've got a lot of famous, a lot of the people we talk about on the show have decided to follow us on Twitch just to keep tabs on what we're saying about them. Elon Musk is one of them. Jeff Bezos, RFID chips for sale, of course. I think R.I.P. Epstein, Lil Mossad. We've got Bill and Melinda Gates follow us there. Who else? Pretty much everybody. Zark Muckerberg. So if you're out there and you're one of the elites that we talk about on the show, feel free to follow us on Twitch. You know, I can't think of any that don't already follow us, but if you're out there, come join the club. Keep tabs on us.
Right. Okay. So producers for the PayPal, we have Tristan coming in.
Thank you very much.
We also have Justin coming in as a producer.
Thanks, producer Justin.
And we have a new recurring supporter, William.
Thank you very much
coming for your in
generous,
hot, William.
Generous support.
Yes. And then we have our 33 and 33 adjacent. Because people have gotten even more creative than just the 33. But we'll start with Charlene. I think Charlene's given to us before, but producer Charlene coming in with $33.
Thank you, Charlene, helping out in the 33. I don't want to say 33 club because it's not 33 club.
Yeah, it's
now,
not.
Of course, everybody out there who's thinking that we're Freemasons, Illuminati people trying to use 33. This was not our idea. This was an organic movement by listeners to reclaim the number 33.
33.
Use it against the enemy and his elites.
Yes. We also have Christopher coming in at $33.33.
Oh, thank you, Christopher.
Yeah, getting creative. But I don't know if anyone is going to top Teresa. Who came in real big. Teresa coming in $333.33.
Holy smokes.
That is just
thank you, producer Teresa.
That laser beam for that.
I think we can call Teresa an associative executive producer there with that amount. Yeah, we haven't quite upped the levels of producership, but I think we might need to think about that moving forward. So just for the case of this, we'll call you an associative executive producer Teresa. Wow, I'm having a hard time speaking.
You really?
I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked by Teresa's generosity.
Yeah.
But thank you, Teresa. Teresa has supported the show in the past and came in strong, probably because of all of our technical difficulties. And everybody who's helping produce the show, you're helping us fix these technical difficulties. We'll continue to upgrade Gonza's system. We've done some network testing. Think there's some hardware issues. Your computer is 10 years old. Something close to that, right?
Getting close to that, yeah.
8 years, something.
Yeah. It's okay. But something to mention, Teresa might be, hopefully she's keeping track of how much she's supporting the show with her producership.
Yeah.
Because she can, I'm sure she's fairly close to damehood.
Yeah, we might need to. Teresa, check your accounting. You might be lined up to become a dame.
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, Knights and Dames, we do that as just an appreciation and to show our our thanks.
I don't know if it's appreciation. They earned it.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're
producers who, over the years or all at once, who knows, who support the show in the amount of $1,000 or more, become a knight or a dame of the Canary Cry Roundtable, given a special seat at the show for their generosity. And, they're the types of people who we could not continue doing the show like we do if it weren't for them. So, yeah, Teresa, you made a big jump there. Let's check your accounting.
Yes. And I think that's it for the PayPal stuff. There's other ways you can support us. You can send us crypto. We haven't had anybody really send us crypto in about a month here, but it's okay. CanaryCryRadio.com/crypto to get all the info there. And other way you can help produce the show is sending us art or jingles. We do want another song. I'm waiting for a jingle.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we had like a show-specific jingle or a song even to play at the end of the show playlist. But we do get plenty of art.
One art, please.
And no different today. First off, we have all the regulars coming in with artwork again on this episode. Mr. Magoo coming in with another compelling hand-drawn pencil.
Yeah, this was there was a lot going on in here, Mr. Magoo.
It's hard for me to wrap my mind around what is all happening here, but I think Elon Musk has a bus. I don't know. Acne glue. There's just a lot happening.
There's a lot going on. Basil, I'm up in the corner there with what looks like a go-go gadget, Inspector Gadget-esque belt helicopter that I'm flying in to save Gons. Gons, I think you're being kidnapped by Elon Musk in this.
Is that what's happening? Yeah, okay.
I think that's what's happening. And then Flippy is fighting with a cat. So this is a real action sequence going on here, Mr. Magoo. Thank you very much. There's a lot of dialogue here. I'm not sure if we could make it through on the show, but make sure to check out all the art on CanaryCryNewsTalk.com along with the show notes. What else? What other art do we have?
We also have art from Jay Vela, another returning producer, and this one is Mandatory Vax Coming Soon. And kind of an eerie people in line to a stage where a masked, hooded individual has got a giant syringe.
A very dystopian view at what the mandatory vaccinations are going to look like.
Yeah. Certainly it's a story that we didn't cover on this episode, but there's some stuff. There's a flying drone with a camera. What else is there? Somebody on a table with
the doctors, quote unquote doctors, giving the vaccinations are sort of spooky gas mask clad, robed, hooded figures.
Yeah,
very scary. But that's what you get, man. Oh, somebody's even getting a Neuralink in there. I think
is that what that is? Somebody in the brain?
Somebody on a table getting an injection into their brain. So Thank you very much, Jay Vela. Talented as always.
Thank you, Jay Vela. And, of course, we got a couple from Ali. The first one here is Redraw for Gons, a full body, a handsome, dark horse of me. And so thank you, Ali. It's a beautiful horse.
to be included in the collection of Basil and Gons as horses.
Yes.
So he was very talented at that horse drawing. Very good job.
Yes. And of course, Allie had one more, and this one was called Look, It's Burning. And there's some clouds. There's a helicopter and an airplane in the sky. I think it's from the fires. And I think that's you, Basil, holding... what's the caption here? It's okay, Paprika. You can go hide with Monty 3 and Time in a minute. Maybe
I'm saving a cat?
I think, yeah, maybe you're saving a cat named Paprika.
Did I tell the story about the 747 I saw putting out a fire?
No.
Maybe this is the AI dogfight we're watching here.
Oh, could be.
Might be that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but good stuff. Always, as always,
very good.
Allie.
Thank you very much, Allie. Ghislaine Bonds in the chat
That's
there.
right. And that's it. No jingles today coming in from anybody. Quick thank you to That Night Wind for continuing to publish the timestamps on the Face Like This on YouTube channel. I try to pin that comment. So if you're listening to this later and you want to skip around, you can go to those timestamps.
DD59 in the Twitch chat referring to, I believe, Jay Vella's art, saying that can be a part of the Denver airport murals.
Oh, yeah.
And that's very true. It actually kind of fits in. Yeah, Jay Vella, you should hit up the Denver airport, see if they'll let you.
Maybe the artist for the Denver airport is listening to the show. Maybe that is Jay Vella, because they took it down, right? All the art pieces and
I did hear about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Too many people were looking at it and decoding it, so they had to they had to change it up.
They kind of played into it for a while. It was kind of funny. They were doing some construction on the Denver airport, and when they're doing construction in airports, there's like they'll put up big plywood walls to cover, and they'll have signs that say excuse our dust or something. They had a bunch of signs put up like excuse our dust, where building our, apocalypse
Illuminati,
bunker.
Yeah, it was like Illuminati at work
Had
or something like that.
Had a picture of a lizard person in a hard hat.
It's funny
really
because
leaned in.
It's funny, but not because they do have a plaque, like a Freemasonic plaque that helped build the whole airport. So it's they're playing into it, but also hiding in plain sight, trying to be funny.
Sight. There you go. Okay, are we good? Should we get back to the show here?
I think we're good. We gotta fly through some of these stories, but let's come back to life. Let's wake up. Come on, machine, wake up. Wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Okay, let's start out here. Very interesting story. Thank you to everybody who sent it to us, who's floating around. And we're coming from my favorite here, news.yahoo.com. The article is titled, Woman Declared Dead Wakes Up in Funeral Home.
Before you go on here, I couldn't load that article on my computer for some reason, so I went with a different one. This is the ABC News.
Why don't you send me that? Because this is actually not loading for me either.
I think it was weird because it loaded and then it changed stories. Remember that? I was telling you before, like, hey, what happened to the article? It changed.
Yeah. Sorry, Yahoo, you don't get the points today. But here we go. We'll go from abcnews.go.com. Attorney, woman was in body bag 2 hours before found alive. An attorney for the family of a young woman found breathing at a Detroit funeral home after being declared dead said Tuesday the 20-year-old was in a body bag for some 2 hours before it was opened, and she was discovered to be alive with her eyes open. Oh my gosh, this is terrifying. Jeffrey Feiger, who was hired by Tamisha Beauchamp's family, said she remains in critical condition at Sinai Grace Hospital in Detroit, where she is on a respirator, and her heart is beating on its own. Well, that's good. Quote, the doctors are unable to give a prognosis right now and have indicated that it's touch and go, Feiger said during an online news conference. Feiger said the family of the Southfield woman, who was born with cerebral palsy and has always needed constant medical care, are shaken by the blunder that led to her being incorrectly declared dead. He read in a statement from Tamisha's mother, Erica Lattimore, who said that, quote, on behalf of the family, we are devastated by what has happened. We would like people to continue to pray for Tamisha and keep her family in their prayers. Feiger said he's just begun investigating at the family's request what he called the negligence that led to Tamisha being declared dead Sunday morning at the family's suburban Detroit home, only to be discovered alive after she arrived at James H. Cole Funeral Home in Detroit. He said he believes that...
we lost him. I was hearing the clicking going on with the audio there. Oh, he's still there? I don't think he's there anymore. Okay, hold on. Let's see if we can get him back. This is really just so annoying. All right, I'm going to try to call him back here. Come on, Skype. What's the deal? Not allowing me to call him back at the moment.
I'm back.
You're back.
I have resurrected.
Like 50 times.
You know, I do want to say this actually, Gons, because I saw some people in the chat getting it twisted. This problem is not with me. This disconnecting issue is on Gons's side.
Yeah, I think
just
it's on
to
my
give you
side.
a little peek behind the curtain. My Skype signal gets sent to Gons, and then Gons's computer is the one that controls the streams out to everywhere else. So Gons's computer is working very hard, nothing against it, and also he's got a lot of info going through the pipes. So we're looking to both upgrade his hardware and upgrade his network. That'll fix the problems. We're gonna get there, folks. We're sorry. It's kind of a long process. All right, where'd you lose me here?
You were in the middle of a paragraph somewhere.
Okay, let me start here. He said he believes that after she was declared dead, police put Tamisha in a body bag at her family's home, and she was inside breathing for about 2.5 hours before she arrived at the funeral home. Feiger said she was found to be alive as she was about to be embalmed. Quote, she was alive. Her eyes were open and she was breathing. My recollection is that the embalmer was actually there and was the person who opened the body bag, he said. Tamisha receives 3 breathing treatments every day that are needed due to her medical condition, Feiger said. On Sunday, the family called 911 about 7:30 a.m. after her mother and brother became concerned after her first breathing treatment and noticed she was in distress. He said Tamisha had apparently suffered a seizure. Quote, it was at that time that the family noticed that her lips were pale and that she had some secretions around her mouth and that she was having difficulty breathing. And the family called Stephen, Tamisha's brother, in, and then they called 911, Feiger said. He said police arrived within about 15 minutes and 4 paramedics also arrived at the family home. Feiger said the medical responders were told of Tamisha's medical history, the medication she received, and about her daily breathing treatments. Feiger said following life-saving efforts, a little typo alert there if you got it handy, following life-saving efforts. Typo. What happened next remains, quote, very, very murky to the family and himself, but Tamisha was declared to be dead when she actually needed urgent medical care. Quote, she needed medical treatment and needed transportation to a hospital, but got transportation to a funeral home, he said. Feiger said she was declared dead even though her godmother, who he said is a registered nurse, told the paramedics she had seen Tamisha breathing and she felt that she had a pulse. He said the paramedics dismissed the godmother's concerns, telling her drugs they had given Tamisha were causing those movements. Quote, the godmother felt that she saw chest movements and felt that she had a pulse. She told the paramedics, and the paramedics told her that the movements were involuntary and were the result of the medication. And they went, according to the family, a total of 3 times to Tamisha's room to look at her, he said. After she was declared dead, he said an officer with Southfield Police gave the family his card, wrote on the back of it the medical examiner's number, and told the family to provide that number to the funeral home when the funeral home staff came to pick up Tamisha. The funeral home was called at 9 a.m., and she was picked up at about 11:25 a.m., he said, only to be discovered alive about 20 minutes later her at the funeral home. The city of Southfield said it's conducting an internal investigation, but insisted that the fire and police departments followed procedure. The Southfield Fire Department has acknowledged it was involved in Sunday's events and said Monday in a statement that the situation began with a medical crew was summoned to a home on a report that a 20-year-old woman was unresponsive. Paramedics tried to revive her for 30 minutes and consulted an emergency room doctor, the department said. The doctor, quote, pronounced the patient deceased based on medical information provided from the scene. It said in Monday's statement. Strange. So a doctor over the phone pronounced her dead. I'm not sure what the protocol is on that. Maybe we have some emergency personnel in the chat who can fill us in. The department said it then informed the Oakland County Medical Examiner's Office of the death, and the on-duty forensic pathologist released the body to the family. Battalion Chief Chris Smith said Wednesday that the fire department's chief would have an updated statement, but he is uncertain when that would be released. So there you go, Gons. Very interesting story. I'm glad. Who knows? I'm sure there's some negative ongoing effects of this situation, but what a traumatic thing for the family.
Yeah, very traumatic. And again, I don't know what the protocols are, but pretty hasty to declare her dead. And then, it's kind of a creepy situation. It'd be interesting to find out what, she saw if she did die.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting part. Yeah, I wonder if, with these near death or temporary death situations, there's always some very interesting stories to come out of it. We actually did an entire episode on that, didn't we?
We did.
Back on Canary Cry Radio.
Yeah, we took, I think, 2 or 3 stories, and we produced it and made a very interesting and emotional episode, the NDE episode. I can't remember what number it was, but go look for that on Canary Cry Radio. It was a lot of fun to make. I remember that. Spent a lot of time editing that one.
Very well done. Now, remember, for those who are new to the show, we're finding a lot of people who are new finding our show. Remember, this is Canary Cry News Talk, where we analyze and dig through the news for what's going on in the world. But we also have another show called Canary Cry Radio. And a lot of our listeners, started with Canary Cry Radio. That's more of an interview type of show that really explores I guess it's a great way to get caught up to date with the sort of Canary Cry worldview. So check it out. Search Canary Cry Radio. I know we've got a number of episodes on YouTube, but also any podcatcher, you'll get the whole collection.
Yes. I don't know. There's not much to really say about that story other than
not much
very
more.
Weird.
An interesting and strange story. I'm sure looks like somebody had a little oversight there. But we, so many people sent it to us. We thought we'd read it on the show.
Yep. So we got a couple COVID stories to wrap up this episode. This one here. COVID. This one from thestar.com. Sweaty Gross's party gets first $2,000 COVID-19 fine as BC, it's British Columbia, changes tack toward enforcement. So
wow, what a confusing headline.
Yeah, let me get into it here. Victoria, the air was thick with sweat forming condensation on the windows. A rotating crowd of 40 to 60 people crammed into a one-bedroom suite in downtown Victoria danced inasmuch as they had room to move to music played by a DJ. The door to the 6th-floor condo building was popped open to let guests flow freely inside. Quote, "It was sweaty gross," said Bowen Asoko, spokesperson for the Victoria Police Department, which broke up the event Friday night and levied British Columbia's first fine for private parties under the COVID-19 Related Measures Act. Quote, "Everything you would not want to see at a COVID party was happening there." Police
COVID party.
COVID party. I know, everything's a COVID party now. People went back to the same unit in downtown Victoria on Saturday night where they arrested one 18-year-old guest and issued more tickets. The weekend gathering, and it's shut down by police, marks a hard shift in BC's pandemic rules approach from the carrot to the stick. Since February, Provincial Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry has been steadfast that the best way to reduce risk of spreading COVID-19 was not by setting up rigid rules and enforcing them through fines, but by explaining the need for everyone to change their behaviors and getting them on board. Change your behavior, Basil. Quote, be kind, be calm, be safe was and still is her most used catchphrase to summarize the strategy. They always have like a catchphrase. So it's very dystopian. But while it seemed to be enough to keep COVID-19 transmission at a minimum in BC through most of the summer, an alarming trend of rising cases has been enough to convince provincial officials to change tack. The province reported 269 cases of the coronavirus, new cases of the virus over the weekend, and now has more active cases than it has at any point throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Public Safety Minister Mike Farnworth on Friday gave BC law enforcement the power to issue fines of $2,000 to organizers of parties and smaller fines of $200 to attendees of such events who don't follow officer orders. Other provinces, especially Quebec, Ontario, Nova Scotia, have been issuing fines since the early days of the coronavirus pandemic, resulting in millions of dollars worth of fines. The uptick in BC cases has largely been attributed to private parties and social gatherings involving alcohol, indoor scenarios in which people are likely to come indoor scenarios in which people are likely to come into close contact with one another, while Farnworth put it bluntly, quote, a party is not worth someone's life, and, quote, enough is enough. Henry said Monday the enforcement measures were, quote, unfortunate but necessary. So the hammer has come down hard. Money can be, you can be charged up to $2,000 for getting together, doing what humans do and socializing, even if it's a sweaty, gross party. And I lost Basil, right as he was probably about to say something. But I think he jumped off because he noticed some issues. Let's see if we can get him back.
One of these days, we're going to get real good at reconnecting without anybody even knowing that we've been disconnected. Yeah, sweaty, gross party is right, Gons. But yeah, you know, this is, it sounded like this was I'm sorry, maybe you read it, but somebody mentioned that this was a protest party.
Maybe it was.
Specifically to protest lockdown and mask orders and things like that. So I'm sure the government was just giddy to slap the fine on this one. But it sounds like, did it mention how many people were at the party?
40 to 60.
40 to 60. Okay, so let's call it 50. And it's 2,000 divided. 2,000 divided by 50.
No. 2,000 charged to the organizer of the party. $200 charged to anyone who attended.
Oh, an extra 200 to the attendees. Yeah. I was going to say, if you get enough people to show up at your protest party, you know, $2,000, it's a small price to pay. You know, you just charge like a $50 entrance fee or something.
Was that 20 kegs?
Yeah, it's BYOB, and you gotta pitch in for the fine.
Yeah, but yeah, either way, you know, this is always the authority using the situation to extract money from the public. Another
and
good
the
excuse
giddiness
to do so.
Of people, you know, I saw some posts, you know, some normies posting about it, like, serves them right. Like, okay, that's fine. I'm glad this makes you so happy. You know, it's hard to find happy, you know, joy in 2020 with everything going on. But you know what? If people getting fined makes you all giddy, you know, I'm glad you're finding happiness in the small things.
Normies are happy.
Normies. There you go. All right. Well, anything left for today's show?
Yeah, one more story here.
COVID.
And this is kind of I think, you know, I was looking for our jingle, the Called It jingle, because we used to play that, and I just couldn't find it. I might have to make a new one. Yeah. And this comes after we reported on Francis Collins, who was basically being, you know, trotted out there as another guy to support the whole vaccine and the whole issue here. But this is ChristianPost.com. 2,700 evangelicals warn against politicizing coronavirus. Urge Christians to take vaccine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it says here, coalition of more than 2,700 high-profile evangelicals spanning the field of science and religion have signed onto a statement billed, a Christian statement on science for pandemic times, which warns against the politicization of the new coronavirus, which, how is that not political to have a stated statement anyway, which warns against the politicization of the new coronavirus and urges Christians to take appropriate action against it, including taking a vaccine when it's ready. Quote, we are deeply concerned about the polarization and politicization of science in the public square when so many lives are at stake. The word science has become a weapon in the culture wars.
Science is truth.
Scientists are vilified and their findings ignored. Yeah, the ones that are against the narrative. Anyway, while conspiracy theories go viral, sadly, Christians seem just as susceptible to these trends. Thoughtful Christians may disagree on public policy in response to the coronavirus, but none of us should ignore clear scientific evidence. The statement published online by the nonprofit organization BioLogos says. That's the organization run by Francis Collins. Quote, we call on all Christians to follow the advice of public health experts and support scientists doing crucial biomedical research on COVID-19.
Yeah.
And it goes on, talks about...
This really isn't surprising. Francis Collins being the mentor and longtime friend of Anthony Fauci.
Yep.
He was... I think he has some Jesuit connections as well.
Yeah,
but he's
that's what we reported on a few episodes ago,
right?
A handful of episodes ago now, that he was part of the Vatican Science something or other organization there. I can't remember the exact name, but yeah, definitely a Vatican tie there. So yes, no surprises here, but pulling the evangelicals in.
I do want to bring something up, and this is going to be unpopular, and people are going to get angry at me in the chat, and that's okay. But the one of the issues I see happening just in the rhetoric of the vaccine thing is, there's a lot of conversations about, Christians shouldn't take a vaccine because they're Christian, and I kind of see that connected to. It's almost akin to the politicization of the vaccine. Now, keep in mind, we are highly skeptical of the vaccine. Definitely not planning on, it's gonna take a bit. Gonna take some serious measures to hold me down and get it, especially on the first round of things, or probably ever. But saying that it's either Christian or unchristian, I'm going to say it either way. Whether it's Christian or unchristian to get the vaccine is kind of a narrative control mechanism. I mean, there's no explicit, Jesus hates vaccines type of situation. Of course, we can make if we get long-winded enough, we can connect vaccines, whether you're for or against, thing is becoming a Christian or non-Christian issue. This is very specifically a sort of control issue when it comes. That's what the vaccine debate is really about, is a control liberty issue. I don't think there's any hard proof that the vaccine is the mark of the beast. Of course, there is some interesting, if not evidence, at least arguments towards that. But I don't like this whole, if you get the vaccine, you're not a Christian, or if you are a Christian, you don't get the vaccine type of comparison. I just don't think it's very helpful.
I think what you're trying to get at is it's not at least right now, it's not a salvific issue.
Yeah, I guess
you're not saved or not saved because you take a vaccine or don't take a vaccine.
Right.
And, again, the arguments on the other side that I can understand and I can relate to are, again, looking into the whole mRNA thing and how the technology of what was it called? I can't remember the exact term they use. But basically, it's the same methodology that they use for creating GMOs, genetically modified food. Is the same type of tech they're going to use for this vaccine. So I can see how people can sort of follow that logic to suggest, hey, they're changing us genetically. And then if you take on this idea that the mark of the beast has something to do with changing our DNA,
complexity in there. It's not necessarily science versus God. It's just,
it's scientism.
There's a lot more levels in there.
Yeah. The philosophy of science being a major component to this, because if you look at a lot of what people who are who champion science, the Fauci types,
science is truth.
We've pointed out how, when Fauci says that, when he says science is truth, he's making a philosophical statement. It's not a scientific statement. There's no science that proves that science is truth. That's a completely philosophical statement. And when science becomes your religion, that's really what's kind of the debate here, is sort of who do you trust in the authority.
I will hand it to Scamp70. Makes a good point. It's unchristian due to the fact that it's derived. They say is derived from aborted human fetuses. Vaccines do include ingredients that are derived from aborted human fetuses. So yes, they're okay. I'll concede that point for sure.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying though, because if somebody gets were you vaccinated when you were born, like out of your control?
Dude. Yes. Well, okay. So yes, of course the schedule for vaccines. Look, just not to get into the whole conversation about vaccines, but I think a lot of people can agree that the schedule of vaccines for children is too aggressive and dangerous. I've had to get vaccines even recently to do some, missionary work overseas and stuff. You can't even travel to many places in Africa without getting updated vaccines.
We figured it out. You are already part of the beast system.
I know. I had to get my yellow fever and all sorts of other stuff. Did not make me feel good, but that's what the price I had to pay for bringing the gospel to certain places.
Next vaccine now. Next, kangaroo legs. Genetically modified kangaroo legs.
I know, man. It's a slippery slope. Slippery slope.
All right. I think
sounds good.
That is all we have for this episode. And the story here concerning the Christian Post is very much a called it situation. It wasn't that hard to call. We knew that this was going to happen, but definitely, seeing Francis Collins, actually taking some action, rounding up all the church leaders that he can to push out this narrative, to urging Christians to take the vaccine. Not so much part of that. And
who knows? People are saying, I would have traveled without getting the vaccine. You just literally aren't allowed. They won't let you on the plane without getting the vaccines.
We live in a new world order. Don't people realize?
Maybe that's how they got me. They said, oh, if you want to bring Jesus to people so much, then.
Oh, see, gets cut off.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
They don't like him doubting this idea that we might have some kind of or Basil has some kind of adverse thing against the vaccines, even though they made him take some. All right, see, I'm hitting this. I wish people could see it. Maybe I can show this, how I'm clicking on the call button, but nothing is happening. Fantastic. This is right at the end of the show, too. Let's see. All right, come on. Hello, computer. Completely frozen. Skype is. Okay. Still trying. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Oh.
I'm back.
You're back. I did it. Skype completely froze out. I don't know what's happening, but we should wrap it up before you get dropped.
It's
again.
new computer time, so let's go ahead and end the show. Thank you everybody for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Remember, we need some producers for next show. If you've been thinking about it, if it's been on your mind, if the Lord's been putting it on your heart to support the show, become a producer and help it continue. We can only continue with the help of our producers. So if you felt that tugging on you, if the Lord's speaking to you, please head over to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. You can sign up there, become a producer, or if you don't like Patreon, head over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. Okay. You can head over there. You can join up with PayPal and cryptocurrency and all sorts of fun ways. And we thank you so much to all of our producers, whether you're taking back the 33 or coming in at any number that, the Lord puts on your heart. We thank you so much. And we'll be giving shout outs to the producers again on Friday. Remember, Friday, hopefully, will be a special show. We'll be live streaming and commenting on the Neuralink, show that Elon Musk is going to be putting on.
Monkey synapses moving a mouse on a screen. Yeah,
that's right.
Do it.
If you want to hear our take on the monkey the monkey cyborg, make sure to tune in on Friday. I believe the live stream of that is somewhere around 3. Is that Pacific Standard Time?
3 Pacific is the scheduled time for the broadcast of the Neuralink presentation. So
we will probably get started a little bit before 3.
Yeah.
So make sure to tune in again wherever you listen to the show. Remember, we got twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio, also the Facebook and the YouTube, all over the place. Wherever you tune in, make sure to do it. Let's call it 2 or 2:30 on Friday Pacific Standard Time. And, if you want to become a we should maybe do a special producer thing, because it's a big day for the show.
It is.
So if you want to help produce the show on this very special day, head to patreon.com/CCNT or canarycryradio.com/support. We will still be doing some art. If art comes in, jingles. Remember, there's a lot of ways to help to produce the show if financially is not in the cards for you. Art, jingles, songs. Somebody needs to write another song for Canary Cry stuff. We might need to reach out to our previous musicians. But if you're out there and you're a musician person and want to write a song for the show, please do. We have the Canary Cry mixtape that will come at the very end of the show. So make sure you stay tuned for that. You can also leave ratings and reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Leaving a rating and a review is a great way to help out the show. We have no control over the algorithms that share the show with brand new people. It's a great way to help spread the show, spread the truth, and it costs you nothing but a couple minutes of letting the internet know what you think of the show. So head to Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and a review. We'll be reading some of those on Friday's show, Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Am I forgetting anything?
Mom with a sword and shield said, "Be a producer." I like that.
Oh, producer. That's
like
fun.
That. I might have to jot that one down.
Very good. Producer. Okay.
Producer.
All right. So there we go. Now, here's the thing. Another great way to help the show out is simply to share it with your friends. You got friends, you got family who are waking up, realizing that the world is not what it seems. And, a great way to help them on that journey is just send them an episode of this show. Maybe this episode, maybe it'll speak to a topic that your friends or family are, that they care about. And we will help guide them down the narrow path of not being controlled, not having our puppet strings pulled by those who want to exploit us. And that includes advertisers. So keep that in mind. But if you want any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, everybody. Just ask Noah. We'll see you back here on Friday afternoon, again, somewhere around 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you then. Remember, help produce the show for Friday, and we'll see you with the monkey moving computer cursor. It's going to be exciting. All right, everybody, make sure to tune in next time to the next episode of Canary Cry News Talk. But until then, remember to think outside the cage.
A monkey lace.
Rattle her cage a little bit more.
Hallelujah. You can't handle the truth.
Look it up.
I tried to tell you.
It's gotta be biblical.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
It will kill.
Canaries in a cage.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You and you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.